time ever seeing. If there's one thing we're both excited for, it's Monkey Ball. I'm excited for that one too. It's gonna be good. All right, it looks like we are ready for the Cybernator run with Elpis. So let's get hyped for that.
Hello everyone, I'm Elpis, and I'll be running Assault Suits Vulcan, which is known as Cybernator in the West. I'll have my couch introduce themselves.
I'm Coltaho.
I am MellowFlowz.
And I'm FlibbityFlam.
So with an
And
yeah.
I'm resisting free.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Don't forget RF.
Yeah.
So shall we do a countdown?
Yeah.
Do I have to do it myself?
Do you need help, Elpis?
Yeah, yeah.
Can help
Oh,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Out.
So it's a 3, 2, 1, go then. And on
Yes.
go, yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go!
Good luck, Elpis.
Thank you so much, and thank you all for having me. So Cybernator, or Assault Suits Vulcan, is a mix between run and gun and auto-scrolling. Made by NCS Corporation, but distributed by Konami. And in the first stage, we're going to use the punch a lot because it one-shots the enemies, or most of them. And it also has the highest damage per second. And we're going to kill a set number of enemies to get those kind of chips. The P stands for power. And you can see a number on the punch in the top right corner. And it basically tells you how much chips you need to level up to the second level and the third level. Every weapon has 3 levels, but only the Vulcan won't be leveled, because the Vulcan is pretty garbage. Like, it doesn't do enough damage to make it worth.
Yeah, so there's 3 different types of chips. There's one chip that'll heal you. There's one chip that's going to count towards increasing the level of the current weapon you have equipped. And then there's another chip after that that's actually going to unlock a new weapon. And those are scattered at specific points throughout different levels.
Yeah, there are only 2 weapon chips. One in the next stage, which gives you the missiles, and another in the 5th stage, which gives you the laser, which is the highest damage per second. And the weapons actually have different properties in their bar. The punch charges over time. Over a relatively short time, it will charge up, and the higher level it is, the fuller the bar will get. And the Vulcan empties its clip, and then it recharges. And so will the laser. And I'm actually destroying a lot of enemies in this auto-scroller to get 1 extra power chip, which will make my life a little easier collecting for both the missile and the punch, which is what we'll be using until we get the laser.
Yeah, so every so many kills, you actually have a guaranteed chip drop, and that's why we're having to kill all this extra things as we go, just to make sure we get enough of the level.
It also makes the auto-scroller a lot more fun because you're not basically doing nothing.
And the game could lag pretty significantly, so you do want to be mindful of the explosions and sprites on screen.
Yeah, that's mostly in the final auto-scroller though. It's not a big deal for this one. And you can mash text with all 4 face buttons. So I think I need to kill 1 extra enemy before to get the power. You usually get it here. So, okay, there it is. Okay. So I basically did all the routing for this game myself, but I will be implementing a few strats from drumboardists. The Cybernator community is pretty small. I think there's like 8 players total. Oh, and I am the only one who really plays no napalm, because napalm is like it's a cheat weapon. So basically, if you beat the intro stage and you just destroy the boss, you'll get napalm. Like if you don't destroy anything else, no enemies. And that basically kills everything in a couple of shots. Thank you. And napalm is on average about 2 minutes faster, so it's a more popular category. But as a kid, I always played this with all the weapons, and I also think it's cooler because you get to see the full range of the game instead of just pumping napalm into everything, it's still cool though, but yeah, I don't know, it's just not my thing.
So you might be wondering what we're doing here in space, other than, blowing everything up that we see. So the story goes that there's 2 warring factions, the Axis and the Federation, and there's very little supplies, fossil fuels, and they want access to the moon and all this other stuff, so they're fighting each other. And we're going and assaulting them because they attacked us, and back and forth.
Yeah, story is not why you play this game. So this game is from 1992, and everything but these explosions look very beautiful. I really like the Earth in the background, and the stars are on a different layer, so they kind of move, so it's cool. It's not supposed to do that. But so there's not a lot of RNG in this game, but the mid-boss that's going up is one of the only RNG elements that I haven't figured out. And Colt's actually going to help me look into that, and hopefully, because as you can see, like this is a lot of time lost. I think it loses 4 to 6, maybe 8, depending. And yeah, it's just one of the things that can be further optimized. Ooh, oh, this is bad. It's okay though. Okay, it doesn't matter. We're just gonna hover over here now. So this is one of the route changes. I used to go right here, and Drumbirders show me that it's faster to go down here. You also get an extra power chip, so that's nice. And
so these trains are in global cycles, and that's what he's trying to make here.
Well, they are missiles, but yeah.
Or missile trains, there you go.
Missile trains.
Guess they're coming out of silos.
So you can actually destroy this gate and get in, but it's really tight. With napalm, it's a little easier. Okay, I'm gonna go for this safety health here. Normally wouldn't, but it's only like 2 seconds lost, so no, it doesn't matter. What our mission here is to prevent an asteroid base colliding with Earth. And it's actually one of the requirements for the bad ending to fail this mission, but it takes 2 minutes. So there are no bad ending runs, and I doubt there ever will be, because you just have to wait 2 minutes here, and that's no fun. So and this is where the leveled up punch really works out, because it hits harder than everything else. Like even a maxed out Vulcan doesn't do this amount of damage. It's a very relaxing speed run. You can set everything up and line things out, and so you...
Punch is OP.
Yeah, Punch is hella OP. And the major time difference between the US and the Japanese version is in the text. Even though the Japanese version has a cutscene, in the final stage, it's still on average 30 to 40 seconds faster. But yeah, the cutscene isn't exactly family friendly, so I have to play on the US version. Which is not a big deal, it's just after every stage the text takes a lot longer, and it's just a pain. I really like this background while we farm for some power chips. Every one of these guaranteed drops a power chip. So we're gonna max out the missile.
And you kind of hit on this earlier. We're looking at the little number that's right by the chip and the power-up bar there.
You guys can see that. What am I doing?
It's a good point, though.
Yeah, so the Vulcan, you see the number, but the Vulcan's only used once for a utility shot to get a health chip. Basically, we're upgrading the missile here so we can one-cycle a particular mid-boss that's going up. I think I've got the setup down so I can control where it appears. Yeah, but I have been having some trouble with it, but it should be fine. So the cool thing about these missiles is that every 10th missile will do its own thing. Like, it will do it once, and there it goes. Like, I think they were trying to program in a dud. I think the game froze.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so...
Oof.
Can I reset? Because this is just frozen.
No.
Okay. That was on decent pace. That's okay. That's okay. Like,
So is there any sort of password system where you can get back to the stages?
No. Okay, so that's... Okay. So... You've probably heard this line before. That's never happened before. Okay. Oh. Okay.
It's okay, just world record.
Yeah, I know, right? Countdown?
Yep. Let's go with 3,
3,
2, 1,
Go. Again.
All right, let's do this again. Okay, so we're gonna invade this space colony, and basically the boss here is a battery pack for a spaceship. And the whole objective of defeating the enemy is destroying their largest battle suit, which is also a mech, but it's much, much bigger. Oh. Apparently when we reset, the name has come back, so I'm now Jake. That's 3 extra characters to put on screen every time text scrolls, so that's a little time loss, but it should be fine. It's nothing big, it's maybe like 8 seconds on the whole run.
And as you can see, there's text riddled throughout all of the missions, so you need to be ready to mash that out. And that's one of the more significant time differences between US and Japanese version.
It's nice that you can use all the face buttons. So here what I do is I count to 4 for this punch and then let one more small punch. Yeah, that's it. Let's see the time. Yeah, that's about average. I think I was 1 second slower, but it's fine.
You got it.
So now we're going to see the beautiful asteroid field again. And here you can see like basically the storage facility, and you can see part of the mission mapped out. And I think that's pretty cool. Like I think the graphical design or whatever, the graphics in general for a 1992 game are extraordinary. Like, maybe I can tell something about, like, yeah. So, when I was about 12 years old, I had this Iranian kid in my class, and I went over to play with him, and he had this game. And one of the coolest things, in the first stage, you have tiles. And unlike in any other game that I've played so far, you can actually shoot the tiles and they'll look different. Like in Mega Man or other games, you can shoot at the wall and nothing happens, right? But in this game, you can actually shoot the terrain and it'll change. And you'll see part of that in the final boss as well. It's just one of those details that always really stood out to me. Okay, I didn't really count my enemies, but it should be fine.
Have time for a quick donation?
Sure thing. Oh,
All right, we have $5 from Jambordis saying, "Hey Elpis, now to be fair, I play Napalmless too. I just aren't nearly as fast as you or Dargron. Anyway, good luck with the run."
And
Thanks
since
for
we're
good luck.
redoing all these, you can probably read a few more.
Yeah.
All right. We have $15 from Air Angel saying, "Flibbity is the best flam. Also, good luck and have fun to all the runners at AGDQ."
Were that the donations? We have more.
We have more. We have 25 coming in from Siberian Bull 9 saying, "Had to come support my new friend Elpis, who I just met a couple hours ago. Good luck and crush the run."
Thanks, Bull. That's good. Okay, so we're back on Attack on Arc Nova, which is like, I really, really like this design. Look at the stars in the background. They'll move at a different layer, so I think it's pretty cool. The Earth itself looks pretty cool too.
All of the names are pretty cool, except Jake.
Yeah, Jake's kind of generic. Sorry for all the Jakes out there.
Sorry, Jake.
Okay, so let's see if we can get some better RNG on this mid-boss this time.
So if you're just playing this game casually for the first time, how apparent are the objectives? Do you have to really hunt around? Are you confused?
Well, there are some mazes, but in general, the route is very self-explanatory. Like the trip down the missile area in this stage is kind of unapparent, but the rest is pretty self-explanatory, except maybe the cave that comes up later. But a more difficult aspect of the game is the controls. So if you don't hold the L button, your gun will go all over the place, and it'll make the second boss, which I just defeated, very hard. Like, I couldn't beat it as a kid. Like, I had to replay the game when I was 16, and then I finally finally got the lock-on down, and it made my life so much easier. And before that, I was like, I'm never gonna speedrun this game. And then I found the lock-on, I was like, oh, maybe this game ain't so bad. So here again, we're trying to dodge these missiles, trying to not get crushed by them.
So is this the optimal cycle for the missiles?
Yeah, this is, if I can get in this hole, that would be ideal, but nah, just missed it. But it's okay, it's not a big time loss. You're not, even if you get in the hole, you have to reposition your gun. And it's not, I don't know which one of the two is faster. Like, because there are so few players, there's just not enough research being done on this game to like see where the small holes are. Like, my record for the Japanese version is 1812. I'm pretty sure we can sub 18 if we found out some skips. There is a 12-second time save in the 6th stage, but it's a, as of now, it's been discovered just now, but it's a quadruple frame perfect, so that's not gonna happen RTA. But when I was young, I actually got that skip without the quadruple frame perfect stuff. So somebody can find that, it's just that nobody's playing. And I've been playing this game for years. When I started running this game, I actually beat this game 24 times a day. Because it's so short, like it's only 20 minutes, but that was on the PAL version. The PAL version is about 22 minutes as a run, but still, it's very doable. But the music, the atmosphere, everything just really, I don't know, it really connected with me. So, yeah. Okay. So in the next stage, I'm not gonna fire all the missiles and hope that the Super Nintendo will agree that we can move on past that stage. I mean, I can do this again, but there's only 20 minutes of like stuff. There's only so much about this game I can explain. I'm trying to rack my brain for what we still need to go over. Maybe Colt, do you have any ideas?
Nothing at the top of my head. I mean, I just discovered this game yesterday, so.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I'm the only one that really knows this game. But, so here we're farming for the power chips again. I call these enemies mosquitoes because they kind of zoom around. And, oh, there's 2 more chips. Oh, this is free. So we don't need to farm that much more. I'm just gonna wait here for a little bit. Like I was gonna say before, this is a relatively marathon-safe game because it's almost half auto-scrollers, which is maybe a reason why people won't play it as much. But then that happened, and that wasn't very marathon-safe at all. Okay, now pray for me, boys.
Bless RNG. No, it's not RNG.
Okay, I'm just gonna do nothing. Relax, okay? Relax. Relax. Please.
Well.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's doing this.
That's a shame.
Like, I can do another game, but I don't think we have time for that. This is already almost 20 minutes, so... Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thanks everybody for watching. I'm sorry I couldn't show you the whole game.
If you want to see the rest, you got to join. Start playing this game.
Yeah. I'll be making a tutorial for this game, and yeah, I hope people at least found this part that I've been able to show interesting. And if there's any questions, you can find me on Discord. I'm mostly in Mega Man Discord, which is not this game, but I don't know. Yeah, I want to thank my mom, my brother, my best friends, my good friends on the couch here. And yeah, I'm sorry I wasn't, like, my game doesn't agree, but yeah, thanks you all for watching, and see you next time. Hopefully then I'll be actually able to play the whole game.
Yeah.
GG.
Thank you.
Bye.
In spite of technical difficulties, that was a wonderful showing from Elpis. So can we please get another round of applause for him? All right, we do have a few donations coming in. We have $5 from Build saying, let's get that monkey ball run. That is actually coming up next. And we are still a couple $1,000s away from the Master Ball One Skip incentive. So make sure you're getting those last minute donations in so we can hit the incentive. We have $10 from Snail Syrup 75 saying Super Monkey Ball always kicked my butt as a kid, so I love seeing it absolutely destroyed in speedruns. Here's to seeing it even more of it after the main run. We have $10 from One Spicy Chicken that says honk, 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 honk. There we go. We have $25 for Megan, who says, super proud of all the runners this week. This donation is for my mom. She's a cancer center pharmacist who works tirelessly helping her patients. Let's crush cancer. All right, we are going to be heading over to a quick Twitch ad. So we'll see you guys when I'm back.
How many years have I waited for the one they called the Warrior of Light? If history must be unwritten, let it be unwritten. Become what you must. Become the Warrior of Darkness.
We received a $35 donation from Morgar Q Kazoo, who said, "Howdy, GDQ. Thanks for 10 years of solid fundraising and speedruns. Here's to kicking cancer in the buns," with a Z. Thank you, Morgar. And right now, I'm going to send it over to the interview desk where we're going to have a little interview with Elrock617. Take it away.
Hey everybody, I'm Feasel here with Elrock617, runner of TMNT arcade game, which is going to be coming up right after Super Monkey Ball. Hey Elrock, thanks
Hi
for joining me
there.
today.
How are you?
So tell us, there's a lot of TMNT games out there. Which one exactly is this?
This is the original arcade version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that was later ported to the NES as TMNT 2.
Right, but this is the original arcade version of it. So this is what I was playing at Chuck E. Cheese as a kid for hours. So,
Same as I was, yes.
awesome. All right, that's great. And so what exactly is new with this run? Like what's new in the world of TMNT arcade?
Whew, so much new. The big thing was there was a skip discovered this past spring by a runner out of California named Josie Kandamu. All the props to that person because I had actually shelved that game for a little bit. I think prior to that, the last time I even touched it was like maybe September of the previous year, and I was just kind of like, I'm gonna focus on other stuff for a bit. And then I don't know if she's the person that found it, but she was the first person to show me, and she tweeted it, and I watched this, and I'm just like, I was just spellbound. I was like, this exists. This is the thing we're allowed to do. So I immediately fired up the game, and I'm like, I don't know how to do it, but I'm just gonna push buttons and see what works, and I got it first try. And it was, it's the easiest major skip I've ever done in my life. It saves like 30 seconds.
That's a pretty big time savings.
3 waves of enemies. Right. That stuff you just don't have to deal with, and that's great in a game like this.
So for the category, you're running 1cc. I guess that means 1 credit clear in arcade terms. So what's the significance of 1cc in this run?
Well, there's a couple. First, for me personally, it's always been a goal of mine to make sure I can focus on games that I know I can clear that well. And I tend to set goals for games like that where I'm like, I want to just be able to beat it if I pop in 1 quarter. That way I can go to the arcade and just finish it off.
Show off your skills on 1 quarter.
Do what I can. And with this game, as far as the speed run goes, there is an any percent category that features credit feeding, which does save time. That saves about, I want to say the 2 records for emulator are something like 1.5 minutes apart. It's a pretty significant amount of time because the more deaths you take, the easier the game goes on. You get less enemies. Some bosses have less health. It just becomes a completely different game. I just wanted to stop doing that because I just didn't like the fact that a run that featured 4 deaths was the same as a run that featured 10 deaths. I just wanted to do 1.
Right, so it kind of makes sense to make these separate categories. So 1cc is going to be slower necessarily because of the rank system?
Yes. So for those of you that didn't catch the Ghouls and Ghost race earlier, there was a lot of talk about what's called rank. That's an old arcade. I guess we'll call it a relic. Is that what you'd call it? It's a bit of one, but I guess there's rank in newer games. But it started much more prominently in the arcade scene in the 80s. How the rank system works is it's an internal difficulty setting that's based on an algorithm. If you take a death, the game essentially lightens up on you. It gives you smaller waves of enemies. As I mentioned, some bosses have less health. And the more you do that, the easier it becomes. But I feel it's just important to make sure I can just pop one in and finish it off that way. That's just how I prefer to do it.
Now, you get 2 lives on this credit, right? So you actually can take an intentional death during the run.
And there's a very specifically timed intentional death because that allows for a couple of things. It allows for an easier wave of enemies that would be much, much harder if I didn't do that. And also a much easier boss fight. There's a boss fight in the middle of the game that if you don't take that death, there's a quick kill associated with it that you just can't do. Like, I've never been able to do it because their hit stun takes longer. It's like 5 hits to knock down instead of 3. And it's just a nightmare having to put up with that much like stun lock and whatnot. And shortening that just makes it that much easier. So it's a very specifically timed intentional death that we're hoping is going to parlay into a completion from there. But of course, beyond that, the real challenge becomes the fact that I just can't die.
Right, yeah, you used up your death.
Yeah,
right.
It's a cash in. It's a resource for a reason.
All right, so you've got a lot of interest in arcade games, right? Where do you think that comes from?
Walmart growing up.
All right, there you go.
That was where I first played TMNT. I've told people all the time that SMB was the first game, Super Mario Brothers was the first game I ever played when I was, I think, early 1989. I was 5 years old. And I mean, that opened my mind to everything you see here today. But TMNT Arcade, the first time I played it sometime later that year, that was the first time I was open to what video games could be.
Right.
Because the first time I moved a character in that game, all I could think was, this was like playing an episode of the animated series. And that just felt incredible.
Right, it looks really good, and having the 4 people playing simultaneously, I mean, I remember the line being around the corner just to play that game.
And the other thing for me is it's also the control scheme. Like, I like pad and buttons as much as anybody, but a fight stick is just so freeform. Like, it's in my opinion, the absolute best control scheme, and that's also how I'm going to be playing it today, is on an Xbox 360 Ti.
Great, awesome. Well, we have a bit of a bonus in our interview here today. We have a special musical guest joining us. We have Puzzle P. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
This is Puzzle P. She's here with the Prevent Cancer Foundation, has been a GDQ volunteer in the past. So this was actually her idea, so you have her to thank for how great this is going to be on her end and how bad this is going to be on mine. So,
I got your back, Elrock.
okay then. So we going to start us off?
Yeah.
All right, feel free to sing along.
Yes, absolutely.
You probably know the lyrics to this. I
You
would
might know a
think.
couple
You
of
might
them.
have heard this.
All right.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power.
They're the world's most fearsome fighting teens.
Oh yeah.
They're the heroes in the half shell and they're green. When the evil shredder attacks, these turtle boys don't cut 'em no slack. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Splinter taught them to be ninja teens. Leonardo leads, Donatello does machines. That's a fact, Jack.
Raphael is cool but crude.
Give me a break.
Michelangelo is the party dude. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power.
All right. That was great. Thank you both so much.
That was great. Thank you, audience, and thank you, Puzzle Piece, so much.
Of
That was
course.
awesome.
All right.
Yay.
Thanks a lot, Feasel.
Thanks a lot for talking with me, Elrock.
Absolutely.
Elrock's run is coming up next, right after the next run, Super Monkey Ball. And I want to give a special thanks to Puzzle P for coming out and playing and singing that song with us. Thank you.
Boo. Thank you. Thank you. It's my honor.
All right, stay tuned for Super Monkey Ball.
Thanks for leading that interview, Feasel. And that's right, before we have pizza time, we gotta go bananas first. I'm Prolix, I'm your host for the next few games. Up next, Super Monkey Ball, ran by my hometown speedrunning hero, Helix. Thanks so much, friend, for bringing this to us. It's gonna be a fantastic run, but if you want more fantastic runs, don't forget that our incentive for a Master One Skip